Hello, this is Raina. Thank you for visiting my How to Crochet channel. Today I would like to show you how to crochet this cool marine doily. And this pattern has only 10 rounds to complete, so I'm using a bit thicker yarn. And Peyton's Grace is really perfect for it. It's size 3. And I use 2 colors, white and dark blue navy, and crochet hook 2.75 millimeters. And we can get started. And I start my doily with dark blue navy yarn. Make a slip knot. Chain 10, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and slip stitch into the first chain to form a ring. And now we start our first round, chain 3, and this counts as the first double crochet. And now double crochet 23 times into the ring, so you'll have total of 24 double crochets. After 24 double crochets, I'm going to slip stitch into the third chain of the beginning and start the second round with 5 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now this is going to count as first treble crochet and 1 chain. Next thing, we're going to treble crochet, so you need to yaw twice around your hook. And we're going to do the crochet stitch in the next double crochet. Then chain 3. Then skip 1 double crochet here. This one. Again, yaw twice to make the next treble crochet and stitch into the next double crochet. Then chain 1, and again next treble crochet into the next stitch. Now again chain 3, yaw twice, skip 1 stitch below and treble crochet into the next. Again chain 1, yaw twice, next treble crochet into the next stitch, and repeat this all around. And when I'm done with my last 3 chains on this round, I will slip stitch into the 4th chain that I began with. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you can fasten off your dark blue yarn. And we're going to bring the white yarn to make the 3rd round. Make a slip knot. And I'm going to join into that same stitch that I finished with the dark blue yarn. And just do a slip, actually do a single stitch here. So this is the first single stitch with white yarn. Now single stitch into that chain space between those 2 trebles. And now we're going to chain 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now turn. And facing the wrong side of doily, slip stitch into that single stitch here. It's the second single stitch. Turn again. So you have this loop now here, and we're going to now single stitch first 3 times into the loop. 1, 2, 3. Next we're going to do a 4 chain picot. So chain 4, 2, 3, 4, and slip stitch into that single stitch here below, and the picot is made. Next, single stitch 3 again. 1, 2, 3. Make the next picot, 4 chain picot. 2, 3, 4. Slip stitch into the single stitch through these 2 loops. Again, single stitch 3 into the loop, and make a third 4 chain picot. 1, 2, 3, 4. Slip stitch through these 2 loops, and 3 more single crochets into the loop. Okay, so when we have done with that, and then we want to slip stitch into that single stitch below here that we started with. So slip stitch in that, and single stitch into the next treble stitch. Next, single stitch 5 times into the 3 chain space. 2, 3, 4, 5, and we can start again with these single stitch once into the first treble, single stitch into the 1 chain space, chain 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, turn, slip stitch into that single stitch below, turn again, and start your 3 single stitches and 4 chain picots into that second loop, and then keep repeating this all around. And when I'm done with my last 5 single crochets, I will slip stitch into the first single stitch I started with, and then cut off the white yarn and fasten off. We're ready to start our round 4, and bring the blue yarn back. First, let's make a slip knot. And I'm going to join this into the picot, the top picot here, with a slip stitch. there. Now chain 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Find the next top picot on the next part here and slip stitch in it. And then just do this all around. Chain 12 and slip stitch on top of into the top picot. And when you're done with the last 12 chains, slips into that first slip stitch you started with. And our round 5, we are going to first single stitch 3 into that 12 chain space. 1, 2, and 3. Then make a 3 chain picot. So chain 3 and slip stitch into that single stitch below here through those 2 loops. Next, single stitch 6 times into that same chain space. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we're gonna make the second 3 chain picot here. Chain 3 and slip stitch into the single stitch below through those 2 loops. And then do 3 more single stitches into that same chain space. And then you will reach over to the next 12 chain space and start over. So 3 single stitches, 3 chain picot, 6 single stitches, second 3 chain picot, and 3 single stitches. And keep doing this all around. Okay, and when you're done with your last 3 single stitches on this round, we will slip stitch into the first one here, and round 6 is going to be 12 chains first. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Reach over the picot here and count the 3rd single stitch. We made 6, so we need the 3rd. 1, 2, 3, and slip stitch in it. Again, chain 12, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And now again, find the 3rd single stitch in here. 1, 2, 3, 3rd, and slip stitch in it. And keep doing this all around. 12 chains and slip stitch into the 3rd of 6 single crochet space. And when you're done with last 12 chains, we're going to slip stitch into the beginning stitch here. And round 7, we're going to keep crocheting with a navy blue yarn. And for for that, we just need to single stitch 13 times into each of these 12 chain spaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and then just reach over to the next space and start single stitching here. Again, 13 single stitches. And keep doing this all around. And now, when done with last 13 single stitches, slip stitch into the first one and cut off the blue yarn. And fasten off. Then round 8, again we're going to bring our white yarn, do a slip knot, and now count a 7th single stitch on one of these 13 single stitch parts here. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7th. Insert hook into that and do a slip stitch to join the white yarn. Next, chain 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And now we're going to do those same white parts here that we did on round 3. So 7 chains, turn your work, slip stitch into that starting stitch here, turn again, and then start your first 3 single stitches. 1, 2, 3, and to the first 4 chain picot. 1, 2, 3, 4, slip stitch, single stitch 3 more times to the second 4 chain picot, single stitch 3 more times, and do the third single stitch picot. Sorry, third, fourth chain picot, and then do your last 3 single crochets. And we want to slip stitch into that beginning stitch here. And next, chain 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. With the next arch here, let's also again count the 7th single stitch from the beginning. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's the top one, and slip stitch in it. And do the same. Chain 7 and do the 3 single crochets and 3 4 chain picots into the loop. And I just wanted to show you one more time how I end this part here. So after those last 3 single stitches, the slip stitch that we have to do is into the slip stitch that we started with. So you see here, and it's got 2 loops. So I'm gonna try and insert my hook between the space of these 2 loops and slip stitch in it. I found that this way it's gonna look the nicest. And then keep doing this chain 8, 5, 6, 7, 8. You see, it's gonna be nicely in the middle here. And then repeat, count the 7th single stitch here, slip stitch into the 7th, and do this all over again. And when you're done with the last one of these white parts, it actually reminds me of a Celtic cross, and I think it fits perfectly with the whole marine theme of this doily. So we are going to chain 3 instead of 8, then yoke twice around your hook to make a treble crochet. Now find the slip stitch that we started the first Celtic cross, insert your hook between those 2 loops here, pull yarn through, then pull through first 2 loops on hook, pull through next 2 and next 2. So we are going to end up in the middle of this space here, and we're ready to start our round 9. Round 9, we start with 11 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And this counts as our first double treble stitch, I'll explain it later, and 6 chain space. Now find the top picot here and slip stitch in it. Then chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we're gonna do our first double treble stitch. So for that, yoke 3 times around your hook, then find a 4th chain on that 8 chain space here. 1, 2, 3, 4th. Insert your hook, pull yarn through, then pull through first 2 loops, pull through second 2 loops, pull through third time 2 loops, and 4th time 2 loops. And we did our double treble stitch, crochet stitch. And now chain 6 again, 3, 4, 5, 6, and slip stitch in the next top picot. Again chain 6 and repeat this pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's do another double treble 3 times, yoke around the hook, find 4th chain, 1, 2, 3, 4th, insert hook, and keep doing this all around. And I did my last 6 chains, and I will slip stitch into the 5th chain of this beginning 11 we did. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this one, slip stitch, and we're ready to just gonna do this again, ready to cut off white yarn. We're finished with that and fasten off. we have just one more round to do with the navy yarn. So let's do again a slip knot. And let's join this into the first chain space and single stitch 5 times in it. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now do these pretty tight because we want to cover the whole white chain with our navy blue yarn. So I'm gonna keep this tight. Next we're gonna do 4 chain picot, 1, 2, 3, 4, and slip stitch through the 2 loops of the single stitch below. And then we're going to single stitch 4 more times into that same space. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we're gonna repeat this all around. So let's do one more here. We're gonna reach over to the next chain 6 space and do 5 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then 4 chain picot. 1, 2, 3, 4. Slip stitch through the 2 loops of single stitch below. 4 more single stitches in the same space. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And so yes, keep doing this all around. This is going to be our edge. And when you get to the end, just slip stitch into that very first single stitch we started with, and you can fasten off. And here is my finished doily. I blocked it, used spray starch, and left it drying overnight to get this beautiful shape. And it measures about 10.5 inches in diameter. So this is a fun project. It works up quite fast, and you will find the written pattern on my website to help you along. So as always, let me know if you have any questions or feedback. I'll be happy to help. Happy crocheting!